So we have here the early window, the halftime thoughts here, as the two nationally televised games, or like games that like most of the country are going to see. Here we have Washington Commanders. They are leading the New Orleans Saints 14-0. That's no surprise, really. There really isn't, because Washington is playing with with their key starters in the New Orleans Saints have their backup quarterback in, and you can clearly tell that maybe they're not even getting anything going on the passing game. They're really not getting anything going on the rushing game. And you can see like the touchdown, 47-0, then 14-0. So just playing really well with 2 touchdowns. They're not playing like ultra good, but they're not playing bad though. Kansas City is playing good over a Browns team that is struggling. Cleveland Browns are struggling a little bit, obviously this season without Sean Watson. Last year they had Joe Flacco, and they had their other quarterback. That was a good backup. But then they brought in Deshaun Watson. They had Deshaun Watson there, and then they brought in Jameis Winston, which replaced Joe Flacco. Went to the Indianapolis Colts, which I don't know, because they would probably have been a little bit. They probably would have been not. Joe Flacco brought them back to life and brought them into the playoffs. So maybe they could have had their season turn around just a little bit more different, but who knows? But anyways, Kansas City Chiefs have 2 touchdowns here. One in the first quarter, one the first drive of the game, and one with 4:46 to go in the second quarter. So 2 touchdowns, playing pretty solid football. The Chiefs are not bad though. Are playing solid football. At halftime here in Nashville, the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to keep their playoff chances alive here. With a loss and Denver win, Cincinnati is eliminated from the playoffs. They don't need to worry about. They already lost the tiebreakers with Baltimore, with the LA Chargers. Their only loss. Yeah, so they already lost them. Tiebreakers. Yes, they lost to LA Chargers and they lost to Baltimore, so they haven't played Denver yet. So they would need a Denver win and a loss to eliminate them. That would make them 8-9. So Tennessee is not playing horrible. Tennessee was up 7-0, and they tied it 7-7. Cincinnati did with 6-3-6-2. Then 3:58-2. It was a touchdown fest in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, late here, Cincinnati got another touchdown with 5:13 to go, then 1:12 to go, then a field goal kicked with 2 seconds to go. So they got stopped Tennessee and defense, got the ball back, and was able to kick a field goal. So that was good for Cincinnati, putting the pressure on Tennessee, and they need it. Cincinnati might not make the playoffs, but they do need to. They're fighting hard for the playoffs, and you can clearly tell that. And they're playing a lot better football now. And you can see that. In this one, here we're 12:30 in the third quarter. Houston Texans are leading the Miami Dolphins 13-6. Miami needs some wins. If they lose, I mean, they might not be out if they lose the playoffs. But they did lose to actually, they lost to no one that's ahead of them in the playoff. Actually, they lost Indianapolis. That's why Indianapolis is ahead of Miami in the tiebreaker scenarios, but they get used to Denver, Baltimore, or LA Chargers, because they have not played them at all this season, and don't play them at all this season. So they have still a shot in the playoffs, but it's getting thin, and they need a win. Here, the Houston Texans would be able to clinch playoffs. Houston would. They have 2 wins against Indianapolis, and if Indianapolis loses, they would clinch playoffs. Indianapolis would be out. So, I mean, would they? No, that'd be for the division. No, so that'd be just for the division. So, Indianapolis might be eliminated though too, but Houston will clinch the division. Should be able to clinch the division either today or next week if Indianapolis wins over Denver. But either way, Houston is playing like they need to with 13-6 win. Touch 3-0 field goal. Then another field goal, 7:39.5 in the second. Then a touchdown, 6:35 goal. Field goal for Miami with 1:36, and a field goal with 13-6 with no time left. So playing solid. Houston is, but Miami has been kicking a couple of field goals, and they haven't been really able to get any scoring one in that first quarter. If they can get at least some of those solid drives and they field goals, or convert some of those drives that they have field goals on, or getting field goals on, into a touchdown or so, maybe you can make it interesting. But Houston's doing just what they need to do, and they're on their way to clinching a playoff berth with a division title. Baltimore trying to make things interesting here in the AFC North. Baltimore is up 21-7 on a struggling New York Giants team. Baltimore is was up 7-0, then at 3:18 the first, then up 14-0, and then with 2:15 the second. Made it, and White Giants made things interesting with 14-7 and 21-7. Lamar Jackson scores another touchdown to Bateman and makes a turn in 7:32 seconds. So really solid game by Baltimore. That's what they need. Baltimore's been up and down. They've been playing well. They've also had some games where they've lost, like 24-19. Had some close games. Some games to Cleveland. They lost to Las Vegas. So they've had some games where they've kind of lost some games where they shouldn't have. Lost a game where they shouldn't have. And a couple games, they look back on it, it's like, but they've not been playing But they're playing better now with 10 minutes to go now. Baltimore just needs to keep doing what they've been doing and just show that they are actually a good solid team. And they're favored by 16.5 or 16 points basically. Like 16.5 points, so it's just like 16, 17 points. So can Baltimore's proven that they're really solid team and they should be doing what they've been doing. And there we have the New York Jets 10, the Jacksonville Jaguars 13. This is a game between two eliminated from playoff contention teams. But both teams are playing hard though. You know, that's also an audition for that. Like if you're playing hard, yeah, it is an audition for next season. Like, here you saw enough to be on this team. Or you saw enough to stay with them. Or the Jacksonville Jaguars if you're on those teams. Or are you, if you get traded or cut, will you be solid enough? We have some good film so that other teams can sign you. You know, 7-0 touchdown Jacksonville. The first quarter, 83-7. If I won the first quarter, touchdown, then it was 2 field goals by Jacksonville, make it 13-0. And then a field goal by Giants, and a field goal by Jacksonville, make it 16-10. So just the only thing with Jacksonville is they've had some drives stall with near like the 10-yard line. And that's the problem. 2 drives stall. If one of them could have converted into touchdowns, maybe that 20-yard drive, that would have been a solid. You know, they would have been put them in good position, you know, to be up by like probably 10 points. But if that's the problem with Jacksonville, they just need to convert. So they got 3 field goals, convert a few into touchdowns. Not a few, but maybe one. Convert one into touchdown, especially that 20-yard drive. Could have converted that into a touchdown. But you know what? It is what it is. I mean, Jacksonville's still doing what they have to do to win some games, and they're still playing hard. Despite, you know, these two teams are still playing hard, still fighting, regardless of the records, and that's all you can ask for. And Jacksonville's up 16-10. Dallas now was up 10-7 at the half. They got the touch. No, and now they have the ball again with 17-7. Actually, or they're about to kick it off to, maybe they're about to kick it off to Carolina, but it's 7-0 for Dallas. There's no score in the first quarter. It was 7-0 Dallas in the second quarter. And they finally got a field goal, make it 10-0. Then 10-7, a touchdown by Carolina, and they needed that. But then with 2 minutes and 14 seconds into the third quarter, they get another touchdown. Dallas does, so Dallas makes it 17-7. So it's a very low. It's not like Dallas like used to, but even Dallas took a rush playing against the Panthers team. Not the loser. Loser is out of the playoffs. The loser is. If Carolina loses, they're out. They're eliminated from NFC South contention, and they're already eliminated from wild card. They need that they lose, they're eliminated from NFC South division winning contention. And if Dallas loses, they'd be eliminated because Washington is winning. They will be eliminated from wild card contention, and it might be pushed back to another week, but still, Carolina is 17. Still, they're both teams are still fighting hard, and so you can ask for, you know, especially when you have a shot at the playoffs, trying to play hard, and especially when the Carolina is trying to fight hard, especially because Greg Olsen is there, you know, trying to show up for Panthers legend Greg Olsen. You know, he's their calling their game. Gotta show up for him, right? I don't know, but they are still playing hard though, and that's all you can ask for. Tampa Bay is taking on the LA Chargers. That's at 4:25 Eastern on Fox. Colts Broncos or Indianapolis Denver 4:25 on CBS. New England Arizona 4:25 on CBS. And there's a 4:25 game on CBS, a nationally televised one. Buffalo and Detroit at 4:20 on CBS. And then the nationally televised America's Game of the Week 4:25 Eastern on Fox. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And that was a big game. Pittsburgh is 10-3 leading the North, and the Philadelphia 11-2 leading the East. And if Detroit wins and Philadelphia loses, Detroit's gonna have a 2-game lead for the number 1 seed. They could, and then also they could have a 2-game lead in the North if Minnesota loses, but even so, they'll still have 1-game lead in their division and a 2-game lead for the number 1 seed. So they'll only have to worry about Minnesota. Not worry about Minnesota, but they only have 1 team catching them as more, than 2. So it's gonna make things interesting. But by the way, 2 big interesting games for the playoffs. And it could also matter for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh, if they lose, that game on Saturday afternoon, because it's the teams that play on Saturday, because they're playing Christmas Eve. The 4 teams they're playing Christmas. They're playing on Saturday because it's like Saturday to Wednesday. They're not playing Sunday to Wednesday. That'd be a short day. And Thursday football, it's like Thursday football. It's around, or it's instead of Sunday to Thursday, it's Saturday to Wednesday. But still, winning that game, that would make it a game even bigger. And that could be like the tiebreaker for the FC North. That could make the AFC North, or AFC North, AFC North, make that thing really interesting, really tight. Especially, and Pittsburgh doesn't want that, Pittsburgh wants to have the AFC North get with that game, and they win. They want to be able to lock the AFC North up, keep it theirs. So, we'll see, how things go. Because it could make the AFC North really interesting winning that game, or it could make it maybe, a little less interesting, but let's still make it you. But you never know, what goes on. And yeah, so I'll have some thoughts on those games, but yeah, there are some games going on right now. There are 5.5 to go. There's Washington and New Orleans. You got Baltimore and New Giants. You got New York Jets, Jacksonville. So there's some games with less time left to go up, and we'll see what the first game is. We'll see what the first game is. That's goes in the bonus coverage on Fox and CBS. In the first game, either on any network that goes in bonus coverage. It's gonna be interesting. It's always kind of interesting to see when you're even what bonus coverage you get. And we'll see, the bonus coverage that's going on. What's going on right now. Probably if Washington and New Orleans is over, I'll probably go to Dallas and Carolina. I probably will. And then and then when it's Miami and Houston, probably go to Kansas City and Cleveland. That'll probably be it, yeah. And so maybe if in my Jets, so I might go to Dallas and Carolina, or could go to the AFC matchup just because it's the AFC teams. Cincinnati and Tennessee.